underway. Brazil and USA have kicked off for tonight's game.
All right, Rich, we are underway. First half action. The U.S. in white, Brazil in their blue strip with white shorts.
Well, Kevin, very important for the United States team to start off strong. What in essence they need to do is make sure that they don't give up this defensive look to the Brazilian team. They need to come out, they need to attack, they need to send some people forward, and in doing that they will create a posture that should carry throughout this game and will force Brazil to not just focus on attack, but to play a very balanced game, both defending and attacking.
Ball played all the way back in. Throw in coming up. Gonçalves, 31 caps for Brazil. USA with a veteran lineup. Ball played to the outside. Manuel plays it ahead. Up across the half line it goes. Mike Burns, who played very well in the win over Costa Rica. Steve Sampson, head coach of the U.S. national team, very impressed with his play. Now Gonçalves plays it back into the arc. Right there, Junior Baiano. Baiano, red carded by U.S.-based official Essie Baharmist.
But it was a deserving call, there's no doubt. He was lining the player up as he ran towards him and just absolutely clobbered him without even making an attempt at the ball. And just no question, that's a red card.
Not just the normal one-game suspension, but a two-game suspension for Junior Baiano. But he's back in the lineup tonight for Brazil in a central defense role. One key absentee for Brazil, Denilson. Injured ankle in the final first-round game against El Salvador. And he is listed as questionable for even Sunday. And Mike Burns plays it up the right side for Joe Max Moore.
Kevin, already the United States team is showing a comfort that we haven't seen out of American teams ever, and that is feeling comfortable going into a game with an opponent like Brazil. They aren't sitting back. They've got people forward. They're very balanced in their positions. Forwards are up top. Midfielders are getting forward. Defenders moving up in support. Very important for this U.S. team as we get a look at their lineups. Casey Keller taking over for Brad Friedel in goal. Casey's going to have his hands full tonight. Mike Burns on the right, Lawless in the middle. And now we get a look at Brazil. Tafarel, Zé Maria, Baiano, Gonçalves Jr. Two big guys up top, Romario and Edmundo, need to be putting the ball in the goal for Brazil.
Ball across the touchline. Brazil will take a throw-in. This crowd, Rick, is a somewhat mixed crowd. I had expected a very pro-U.S. crowd, but there are many Brazil backers in the crowd.
I think there are Brazilians all over the world when it comes to their football or soccer as it is in this country. People just love to watch this team play because of how attractive they play and because of how well they play.
Junior Baiano plays it to the outside for Junior.
Very important positional responsibility that needs to happen for the U.S. team in the middle is how John Hartz and Joe Max Moore play together in the center part of the midfield. They struggled a little bit in the game Costa Rica, both of them wanting to assume the same role, and that is to be the playmaker. Very important that they get that sorted out and work together with one another so that one assumes a more defensive role, the other more offensive.
Throw-in coming up to the United States. Steve Sampson off his bench as you look. Number 18, Sergio Manuel, 6 caps for Brazil. And he's playing in large measure because of the absence of Denilson. Ball played to the area, but the flag went up. John Hartz up into the offense, something we haven't seen a lot of as you get a look at Mauro Silva guy who has never scored a goal for Brazil.
Kevin, he's getting some treatment, which means that Brazil right now is playing with only 10 men out on the field. Brazil is also warming a player up in the event that Mauro Silva is not able to go back into the game and play.
Junior Baiano. Gonçalves, his pass. Taken down. Now the left side. Arch crosses in front, nobody there.
Kevin, John does a great job of getting up the left side of the field. Him expressing his opinion about whenever you're wide, you need to have players making runs into the box so that you have a target to play the ball to. There, John serving his ball to a relatively empty penalty area, that being Brazil's, and therefore it went out of bounds, ultimately a goal kick for Brazil.
Junior on the left side for Brazil. Joe Max Moore broke the play up. Haydock gets it ahead, and now Mike Burns plays it right side. Mike Burns, who was a key substitute in the World Cup qualifying. Wallace plays it ahead. Alexi plays it into the middle. They look for Frankie Haydock. Haydock running on. Cleared away by Junior. And we're going to get a substitution for Brazil early on. Dorival. Dorival is going to check in.
And that really is unfortunate for this Brazilian team. The fact that number 5, Mauro Silva, has to come out so early on really puts Brazil in a negative position from the start.
Another corner for the United States. Ball crossed in front. Taffarel got a piece of it. And a whistle and a foul. Frankie Haydock. Whistle down for the foul. And just a simple push.
Well, the important thing on a corner kick is you hit your ball with pace and to a target. Just a little bit high over Eddie Pope, whom we saw score a goal in the game against Costa Rica on a corner kick just like that. Good solid effort by that U.S. team with that opportunity.
Pope almost scored a second goal almost identically against Costa Rica.
One of Eddie Pope's strengths, Kevin, is in the air, coming forward from his defensive position on set plays with the opportunity to go at it.
Ball played towards the middle. Casey Keller right there. Casey is having an amazing year at Leicester City in the English Premier League. And, of course, beginning in August, we'll have the English Premier League for you right here on Fox Sports World. The referee, Boujam, from the United Arab Emirates, laying down the law early.
And that is something very important for all referees to do, is to establish control and confidence of the players that you're going to maintain control in the game.
Harks on the free kick. Bicycle kick attempt thwarted. And a dangerous play call.
Well, if Frankie, Haydock was trying that bicycle kick, if he scores on that, it might be the best goal ever. Not much time to adjust to it as we see Mauro Silva being carried off on the stretcher. Same that we saw in their game against Salvador.
So they lose Denilson against El Salvador, and now they lose Mauro Silva. And if they do advance to the finals, one has to wonder, without Denilson, without Mauro Silva, it might be tough for them. Here's the long shot, Edmundo. And Keller makes the stop.
Great shot by Edmundo. Great save by Casey Keller, and he made it look so easy, Kevin. That ball bounced about 4 yards in front of him. Very difficult one to handle.
Ronaldo chases it down, a throw into the United States. No score, the USA and Brazil. The USA in 8 meetings has never beaten Brazil. Frankie Hayduck to the touchline. U.S. will get a throw in. The USA denied again. Romario comes all the way back inside his own end. The USA in 68 years has never even scored a goal against Brazil. That's in 68 years. That's a long dry spell.
Kevin, that's even older than you.
Well, me.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, Brazil, one of the adjustments I expect to see them offensively is to counter or move the ball quicker from defense to offense. They had an opportunity there when Romario came back to receive the ball where they played slowly. That allowed defense to go ahead and drop everybody and makes it that much more difficult for Brazil to go forward.
Romario one-times it, and Eddie Pope is right there. Look out, opportunity. They play it outside. Manuel in the area. Manuel, the shot blocked in front. The shot blocked at the 6-yard box. And another shot. Romario with multiple chances. And Casey Keller just getting a piece of it.
Well, Kevin, if you don't watch carefully, Romario will actually reach behind one leg to take a shot, where he uses his right leg to shoot the ball from his left side. His follow-up shot, Casey Keller, comes up with a big save.
The cross in front. Headed out. Ronaldo got ahead on it. So does Junior Baiano. He knocks it back into his own end. Boy, the brilliance of Casey Keller.
Kevin, Casey was already into his dive, I think, before Romario takes that second shot. If he's not, it's in the goal. As it was, by getting a head start on it, he's able to make the save and only give up a corner.
Casey Keller coming off shutouts over Manchester United, Leeds, and Liverpool. And in fact, coming into this game, in the English Premier League, he had not given up a goal in 272 minutes. Now Junior on the outside, Manuel.
To admire some of the talent that these Brazilian players have, just watch how good their first touch is when the ball is played to them. Always immediately under control.
Up the wing it comes. Marks launches it long. In front, no problem for Tafarel.
Not typically a good place to be playing across from because the angles aren't real good.
Eddie Pope back there, heads it back into Casey Keller, denying Romario.
And that is a matchup. Look for that to happen a lot throughout this game. Eddie Pope pulled into the middle from his normal or customary outside spot so that his speed can help combat the speed and ability of a Romario.
Casey Keller, under duress, plays it out, and Brazil will get it back. Official word from down on the field, a sprained ankle for Mauro Silva. Ball played long. Gonçalves back there for Brazil. And down goes Joe Max Moore, and a free kick.
Kevin, no sooner does Gonçalves get called for the foul that U.S. is putting it back in play.
There's Ronaldo crossing it out in front. The header and Tafarel right there. Tafarel positioned perfectly for the Ronaldo header.
I actually think that it's better advised for the United States team more often than not to take their time on those sort of free kicks because they can allow Eddie Pope and Alexi Lalas to get forward.
Zinho plays it to the outside for Brazil. Zé Maria knocks it back. Now Edmundo with a little space. Eddie Pope steps out on him. Junior calling for the ball on the left side, but they didn't get it to him.
Brazil plays the ball back and then across the field. Ultimately a bad pass from Junior Baiano. The idea being is to go ahead and have them pull the U.S. team out.
Don't forget, if you don't call 1-800-FOX World now, you won't get English Premier League soccer coming in August to Fox Sports World, the premier 24-hour international sports channel. Call them right now. You'll be able to see Casey Keller and some of the greats from the English Premier League. Brad Friedel, if he ever gets a chance to play for Liverpool.
Very difficult thing for any player, especially a player of Brad's caliber, to go back to his club team and then sit on the bench. You need to play. You need to play to be sharp. You need to play to have your best form. With the battle at the goalkeeper spot for the starting position with this U.S. team, it almost will default to Casey Keller if Brad doesn't get to play before the English League season ends.
Now Zinho pushes it to the outside. Zé Maria plays it back into space. Manuel looks, left-footed drive, high. Dorival with the shot from long range. Mario Zagallo. I'm not sure he's all that happy with that particular shot.
And just looking at his face, you can tell the wheels are turning in there. Good shot for Brazil to take because the U.S. team had drawn back, almost with everybody laying off the player with the ball. So if you step up and shoot, that forces them next time to step up.
Frankie Haydock for the United States. Product of UCLA and the California beach scene. An avid surfer. Plays that ball well wide, setting up a goal kick for Tafarel and Brazil.
Well, and an accomplished surfer at that.
Just wondering what Siggy Schmidt would do, saying, hey, I know I got this guy who's an accomplished player, but he also likes to surf. What do you do if you're a coach? Do you just tell him, hey, just be discreet? Don't break a leg?
I think what you do is you let the players use whatever tools as long as it isn't occupationally hazardous, which I can't say I've ever tried surfing.
That's one thing I want to see. I want to see you out on a surfboard.
Looking at the waves of this past week, I wouldn't want to go out there in a boat the size of Titanic.
Joe Max Moore plays it long, but Tafarel fields on one hop.
But players, it's very important for players to have some vehicle to unwind, to get away from the game, to get away from the fans, to relax a little bit. And Frankie, surfing is it for him. Alexi, it's his music. Different players have different things.
Mike Burns traps it down into Casey Keller. I would think a guitar is a lot safer than a surfboard, though. Would you agree?
Unless you're a goalkeeper, got to watch those fingers.
Don't want the calluses. Jeff Agus keeps it in. Agus, who has played so well on the left side for Steve Sampson.
Kevin, Jeff is just one of those steady, solid players. Nothing spectacular. You just know what you're going to get every day.
Zinho plays it to the outside. Romario battling. And Agus comes away with it. Let's see if they can work their way out of danger here. And Eddie Pope finally just gets a foot on it.
Romario, that last flurry, was looking for an opportunity, and that man there, Jeff Agus, did a great job to come over and give defensive support so that Romario had to beat two players.
U.S. countering. Didn't have numbers, 2 against 3.
The problem with Joe Max's pass is that he never forced the Brazilian defenders to make a decision. They just dropped, delaying, wait to see what they were going to do.
Joe Max plays it out in front again. Junior Baiano is back there and just clears it out of danger. Throw in coming up to the United States.
Good to see the U.S. team really investing some energy and people going forward. Execution is going to have to be a little bit better to beat this Brazilian team.
Ball crossed into the area. Ronaldo goes down and is asking the referee, what about a foul?
Well, I think what Eric is saying is that number 6 for Brazil Jr. only looks back at the ball after he's made contact with Eric and in the process knocking him down. Knowing the referee mentality, you're not likely to get a penalty kick on a relatively harmless cross to the far end of the penalty area, especially on what little contact there was there.
On the right side for the United States. Ronaldo lays it off. Now they try the left side.
U.S. team, good job in finding the open player.
The cross in front, rejected across the end line. Corner coming up for the United States. Kobe Jones making a nice run.
Kevin, that was 6-7 passes that the U.S. team moved the ball from their back third into the middle third, ultimately to Kobe in the offensive third. Again, excellent job in moving the ball around and finding the open attacking player.
Joe Max Moore on the corner for the U.S. The cross in front. The header through the box and out. Goal kick coming up to Tafarel. Eddie Pope lurking.
Again, Joe Max driving this ball near post, ultimately gets flicked on to Alexi at the back post. Unfortunately, the touch a little too solid, carrying the ball over everybody.
Zinho plays it wide into the U.S. zone. Slippery turf, and it is really. Rich Mahoney was talking before the game about how the turf is a bit soft in spots, and it can be treacherous. Mike Burns the cross. U.S. tracking back, long ball. Romario is in. Romario shoots, save, Keller. Casey Keller going down to make the stop on Romario. And to beat the Brazilians, it's going to take big goalkeeping like that from Casey Keller.
Oh, and Kevin, Casey looked so solid. Brazil finally got the matchup that they'd really like. Romario one-on-one with Alexi Lalas. Alexi just doesn't have the speed to keep up with him. What he does have is Casey Keller in goal for him to help out where he falls short.
Manuel plays it all the way back. Conceição. Toriva back to Conceição. His pass way off the mark. Eddie Pope intercepts. U.S. will try to counter the other way. Takedown there, Edmundo. And a throw in to Brazil. No whistle.
Evan, is it just my imagination, but every time that Brazil generates a good scoring opportunity, the samba bands here in the crowd seem to get going. Again, the pass, Romario one-on-one with Alexi. He just outruns him, strikes the ball to Casey Keller's right. He goes down and makes a great save look easy.
Out in front, Wallace clears. U.S. works its way out of danger. The giveaway there. Chance for Brazil, the shot! Edmundo just put it over the bar.
Well, the good thing for the United States is that it's on Edmundo's left foot, not his better. strikes it a ton. Casey Keller diving in full reach to tip the ball over the goal. Fortunate for him and the U.S. players, that goes high.
Sixth shot of the night for Brazil and Mario Zagallo. Only 2 for the U.S. Something Brazil has done a lot in this tournament, and that is dominate offensive play. Something else they've done is not finished. Here's Junior to the end line. Manuel crosses in front. Looking for Conceição out of his reach. U.S. throwing.
Good thing here, Kevin. U.S. team, Jeff Goose, take your time in putting the ball in play. One of the ways to throw a team out of tempo is to slow it down a little bit, because Brazil has had 2 very good chances in the last few minutes.
Now they'll play it out wide, intercepted by Manuel. Here's Romario with a touch. Outside, Manuel taking it wide. His crossing attempt deflected by Frankie Haydock. Forcing a corner here.
U.S. team actually enjoying some success against the number 18 for Brazil, Sergio Manuel. Not a great dribbler by Brazilian standards. On the U.S. team, I'd allow that pass out wide to him all day long.
Out in front, the back post. Romario couldn't get a piece of it. From long range, a shot, and Keller the save. Zé Maria from outside the box tests Casey Keller. And again, Keller equal to the task. The cross in front again. And this time, the ball cleared out of harm's way, but a handball in the box.
And surprisingly, Kevin, Romario tries to control that ball. He's wide open in the box. You got to hit a volley. Here's the shot from Zé Maria. Casey Keller not with a good view of the ball, because looked like Mike Burns or John Harkes obstructing his view, but he makes a good save by batting the ball away from his goal.
I'm not entirely sure Eddie Pope didn't get a piece of that as well, redirecting it. Ball played outside. Haydock taken down by Junior Baiano. The foul against Junior Baiano. Earlier, Junior Baiano talked with Ridge Mahoney. We didn't get a chance to show it to you. He said that the problem for Brazil in this tournament have been simply they haven't played together that much.
Well, and that is a huge problem, although that exists with all teams preparing for World Cup, as we see Tafarel, who's been a mainstay in Brazil's goal, going back to prior to the 1990 World Cup. He knows all about playing with some of these guys.
A look at Junior setting up the wall. The cross in front, Eddie Pope went up for the header. Ball across the line. It'll belong to the United States.
Boy, if Joe Max's cross can get in behind that line of defenders, creates all sorts of problems for that Brazilian defense.
Ball crossed in front. Header out in front. Tafarel out of his net, off his line. And the ball finally cleared out of danger by Brazil. U.S. dumps it right back in. Ball across the line. And we'll get a goal kick to Brazil. Zé Maria, the defensive job there.
Zé Maria does a good job, Kevin, to just step in the path of Eric Winaldes. We see Alexi Lalas and Tafarel going high. And then the ensuing scramble where ultimately Brazil was able to clear the ball out of danger.
Dorival plays it ahead. Zinho. Now to the outside, it's Junior. Brazil nothing, the USA nothing. The CONCACAF Gold Cup semifinals from the Los Angeles Coliseum in Los Angeles. Kevin Wall along with Rick Davis. Great to have you with us here on Fox Sports World. Played all the way back in. Casey Keller dumps it out to center. Now Kobe down the left side. Kobe crossing in front behind everybody. And Zinho is down.
John Harkes likely to get a yellow card here. Kevin, he had no chance to get to that ball before the number 7 for Brazil Brazil, Edmundo. Watch how Edmundo just positions himself. Actually, check that, it's number 9. Zinho puts himself between John and the ball. Therefore, John's tackle is from behind. Very dangerous sort of tackle, and it now gives John a yellow card.
Edmundo lays it off. They switch sides and go to Junior. Now Zé Maria. Manuel pushes it to the outside for Junior. Junior takes a touch and crosses right on. And Casey Keller is there. Let's take you down to Ridge Mahoney along the touchline.
Well, that foul by John Harkes on Zinho reflects what Steve Sampson has been telling the United States is to stop the ball in midfield. And most of the attacks that Brazil has launched that have produced good shots have come through the Brazilian number 9, Zinho. Offensively, he wants the U.S. to get the ball to Frankie Hayduck. He thinks his speed should be able to take advantage of Brazil's left back Junior. And he also wants Ronaldo and Wegerle to do as much work as possible, cutting off the passes coming out of the Brazil back line.
Wegerle whistled for the foul. Edmundo puts it into the area. Romario, the shot, the save. Keller again staring down Romario.
Casey Keller, actually, that save is the easiest of the ones we've seen of late because Romario will toe poke the ball. Fortunately for Casey Keller, it's virtually right at him. His positioning true and well positioned. Great move. As we see, Zinho dribbling forward, Romario receives it, beating Mike Burns, the toe poke, and the Casey Keller save.
Let's look at that again.
Well, just a great move there by number 7, Edmundo. Great pass. Romario beating Mike Burns. The toe poke. Casey positioned perfectly. Gets the ball in the chest and then just covers it up.
Alexi Lalas knocks it into the area over the head of Roy Wegerle. Well, if you don't call 1-800-FOX-WORLD now, you won't get world-class soccer and more. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on Fox Sports World, the premier international sports channel. Call right now. Operator standing by at 1-800-FOX-WORLD. Call them right now. Of course, we have the very best in soccer from around the world. The German Bundesliga each and every week, Italian Serie A, the Scottish Premier League, and coming in August, the English Premier League. You'll see the likes of Casey Keller and Brad Friedel. Here's Mike Burns. His cross, rejected. Joe Max will try it now. Likewise, Brazil doing a good job of cutting off those crosses from Joe Max Moore. Ball played wide and out. Mario Zagallo, earlier in this tournament, the slings and arrows that he took from the Brazilian media. They called this club a tiny team.
I'm thinking more cannons and bazookas than slings and arrows.
Yeah, I tell you, howitzers were more of the order of the day.
They were all
and it was
over
tough,
him.
but Zagallo, to his credit, said, hey, don't judge us on the first 2 or 3 games of this tournament. Now again, the ball played outside. Zé Maria overlapping. His cross in front. Eddie Pope got ahead on it. Manuel. Now up front, here comes Junior. So many players can attack for Brazil. Hayduck knocks it loose. Frankie Hayduck on the right side. Edmundo dispossesses him. USA has given the ball away a lot.
I think Frankie Hayduck has taught a lesson by number 7, Edmundo there, who's saying, you know, you've got to move off of me dribbling the ball to help pull defenders away.
Junior, the cross in front. Pope got ahead on it. Romario takes it wide for the Brazilians. Zé Maria, he'll shoot. The left-footed shot deflects wide. And actually, I don't believe that was deflected because the U.S. will get a goal kick. Zinho from long range.
Well, look for Zinho with space in front of him. Steps up and just cracks the bomb from way out. Casey Keller, knowing that it's wide, doesn't have to dive. But again, that type of shot, Kevin, is really intended to, obviously, if it does find the goal, great. But it causes the defenders for the U.S. team, in this case, to have to step up to protect that type of shot for fear of giving up a long-range goal.
Mike Burns, the solid effort defensively, strips Manuel. And across the touchline. That pass well off the mark by John Hartz. Hartz came in for some criticism from Steve Sampson earlier in this tournament. And in the words of Steve Sampson, we have to have solid play from John's position.
Well, the position requires it. The responsibility of captain mandates it. He really has to be a leader for the entire U.S. team. If he's playing poorly and not fulfilling the role that he's out there to do from a positional standpoint as well as a leadership one, you need to find somebody else.
Little 1-2 along the touchline. They play it wide to Gonçalves. Now up to Junior. If Hartz does not settle in at that defensive midfield, Rick, where does he play?
Well, the difficult thing is he probably doesn't fit in anywhere else unless you want him on the field because of his leadership.
Here's Wijnaldum to the 6-yard line. Taffarel clears it ahead.
Eric, I think, really was as much looking to cross that ball, Kevin, as he was shoot it. Kind of ended up being half of neither nor. One important ingredient for this U.S. team when they win possession of the ball, Kevin, is to maintain possession. What that does is nothing else. It keeps the ball away from Brazil and away from their goal.
Here's Zinho to the 18. For Romario, who tries to turn. The opportunity. Fired high. That time Zinho with the chance.
Look for Zinho. He should have taken the shot there, having to use an extra touch. He moves it now over to his left foot, not the better of the two. Opportunity to strike it first time. He passes up on it. And as a result, rarely do second thoughts turn out the way you like them.
Junior Baiano with the header. Burns plays it up into the crowd, and a throw-in coming up to Brazil. Junior will do the honor. Gonçalves tonight marks his 18th cap for Brazil. Dorival came on for Mauro Silva. Silva, we understand they have changed the diagnosis from an ankle sprain to a calf strain. It rhymes, but not the same. Now Edmundo working on Lalas. Little 1-2. Edmundo stripped by Eddie Pope.
So good that Eddie Pope came over in support, anticipating that return pass. Alexi Lalas beat on the play. Eddie Pope there to help out.
Those of you wondering if Eddie Pope can play in central defense, it's one of the reasons why. Very steady. Playing tonight in place of Marcelo Balboa.
I'm actually a little surprised at that move from Steve Sampson, Kevin. Marcelo, I think, although in terms of comparing him to Alexi, both very experienced players, I think Marcelo has a little bit better speed, reads the game, I think, a little bit better than Alexi does. I do agree with the move to bring Eddie Pope into the middle, but I personally think it's a better move to have Marcelo there in support of him and the other way around, having Marcelo step up to match up with Eddie Pope dropping in support of Cello.
Coming up to the 40th minute. Edmundo withdrawn now. This is off on the right side. Burns got ahead on it.
One of the problems we're seeing now, Kevin, for this U.S. team is they are now dropping all 11 players, actually 10 now, behind the ball. That is trying to defend against the best attacking team, in my mind, in all of the world. You cannot do that for very long. You're better off trying to apply pressure further up the field.
Thursday night, Jamaica, the Reggae Boys, and Mexico in the other semifinal matchup. Jamaica had to beat El Salvador to get into the semis. Zé Maria plays for Parma of Italian Serie A. Don't forget tomorrow, rare midweek action in Italian Serie A here on Fox Sports World. Fiorentina and Inter. Inter has really struggled. Fiorentina has moved from 12th place to 5th place in Italian Serie A.
Well, and the confusing thing is Inter has struggled most at home, which, yeah, that's almost unheard of. As speaking of struggling at home, the United States team now having some disagreements as to who should be where and doing what. We saw it on the throw-in a moment ago, and we see it there with Eric Winalda. Not happy about where his support is coming from.
Edmundo plays it wide, right side. Romario plays it into the area. The cross in front, the header, the save! Oh, a diving save by Casey Keller. And again, robbing Romario.
Kevin, that is just absolutely phenomenal. As Steve Sampson, I don't think he can believe the save that Casey Keller just made there. Point blank. And he not only saves it, but he holds it.
Ball played out in front. Keller again. Comes sliding out. Look at this one.
Well, it's set up with Zinho plays the ball out wide. Cross into Romario. He gets a head on it, and Casey just reacting so quickly. Again, the pass out, the cross in, Romario beating Mike Burns in the air. Casey Keller doing everything necessary to, in fact, keep his U.S. team and help out his U.S. defenders in this game.
Now on the outside, Kobe Jones earning his 100th cap tonight. Crossed in front. Hayda just got a foot on it, but he was slipping and sliding in that penalty area and couldn't really get the right part of the foot on it. And a goal kick coming up to Taffarel.
Well, and furthermore, Kevin, the challenging part of that for Frankie Hayduck is that the cross was behind him. He has to move back away from the Brazil goal. And because it's somewhat skipping off the ground, the timing of his leg swing is a little bit slow. Therefore, he not only hits it high, but he also hits it well wide of the intended target.
Rick Brazil now with 12 shots in the first half by 7 different players. They're spreading the ball around.
Well, you talk about the weapons of any quality offensive team. Brazil has so many weapons, 7 different players with shots, Kevin. Some of them just of the spectacular variety. If not for the goalkeeping of Casey Keller, I think you're looking at 2 or 3 Brazilians, different ones that is, with goals.
Edmundo comes back. Dispossessed there. Zé Maria. Now Edmundo towards the area looking to spring Romario. Seconds to go.
Kevin,
unofficially in the first half.
They clear it up to Eric Winalda, who's up there all by himself with 2 Brazilian players, 1 in front of him, 1 behind him. U.S. team needs to defend by generating some offense and maintaining possession of the ball.
Dorival plays it wide. Now back to Junior Baiano. Gonçalves. Hayda with the steal. Joe Max Moore plays it long. Flag stays down. Taffarel right there, top of the 18. We are into injury time. Alexi Lalas for the United States. Now Joe Max plays it back. Agus. Back to Joe Max Moore. Here's Mike Burns in injury time in the first half. The cross to the back post. Zé Maria got ahead on it.
Zé Maria just doing the safe thing. Not quite sure where Kobe Jones, where it's behind him, so he just heads it over the end line, giving up a corner.
Short corner for the United States. Looped out in front. Cleared out of danger by Brazil. Again, we're into injury time in the first half.
That's not a matchup that I'm sure number 6 junior for Brazil wants very often, tangling with the size and strength of an Alexi Lalas.
Brazil with numerous chances in this game. Here comes Zé Maria, the cross. Romario, the header. Ball high. Hayduck gets ahead on it. And the volley, well wide. That time, Flavio Conceição getting the volley, but bending it wide.
You talk about the smarts of the Brazilian players as a whole. That shot earlier in the game with more time, Conceição, I think, controls it. Instead, he takes a shot knowing that the half is about to end.
And in fact, it has ended. Casey Keller, 7 big saves for the United States. Romario already with 5 shots in the game. As the USA and Brazil play 45 minutes, still no score. Stay with us. Our halftime show will begin. We'll talk with René Samoas, the head coach of Jamaica.
Especially at a high level like Casey Keller right now is in the English First Division. Brad Friedel not able to get that starting spot yet with Liverpool, so the idea is I think Casey really does have an advantage.
The U.S. tonight playing without Claudio Reyna, member of Wolfsburg of the German Bundesliga. And if you don't call 1-800-FOX-WORLD now, you won't get German Bundesliga soccer each and every weekend, only on Fox Sports World, the premier 24-hour international sports channel. Call right now, 1-800-FOX-WORLD. If you don't, you're going to be sorry. No substitutions for either side to open the second half. As you look at Claudio Taffarel. Taffarel, 98 camps. He just played in his 100th game. He has really been the starter of record for Brazil since about 1989. He started in the 90 World Cup, the 94 World Cup.
Well, when I think of Brazilian soccer, great goalkeeping isn't the first thing that comes to mind. I think Taffarel has been, in my mind, one of the first times that Brazil really has somebody with solid credentials, and as a result, he's held the position for such a long time.
Here we go in the second half. The U.S. and Brazil. U.S. has to mount some offense. Has to get the ball in behind the Brazilian defense, and they just have not been able to do it so far. Brazil has been Brazil. Zé Maria. You don't see him often in the middle of the pitch. Now to the outside. Manuel. Plays it to the outside for Conceição. Now there was something interesting. You saw Zé Maria all the way to the middle of the pitch, playing almost like an inside midfield player.
Well, and Kevin, that's what René Samoas was talking about in terms of some of the rotation that this Brazilian team does, and that's part of why they're so difficult to play against and so effective offensively, is you're constantly being faced with a different opposition, a different opponent, a different player coming at you.
Alexi Lalas gets a head on it right to Edmundo. Edmundo, the shot, and he put it just over the bar. Edmundo again. Yet another scoring chance in this tournament, and has only the one-header goal against El Salvador to show for it.
Well, Edmundo just given an opportunity to shoot, a little slow in doing that, but you can see his ball dipping, unfortunately, after going over the goal.
Conceição holds it up. To the middle, Edmundo plays it to the area. The cross in front, the chance, and the ball fired just wide of goal. And boy, what a great chance Conceição had there.
Well, this was a phenomenal chance. I think Zagallo's looking on and saying, how did he not at least hit the goal? This is just driven across the mouth of the goal, goes by everyone. Alexi just gets out of the way, so he doesn't do what Marcelo Balboa did last time they played Brazil in CONCACAF Cup. That is knock it into his own goal, and Conceição tees it up and just misses.
In fact, it was just 2 years ago here at the LA Coliseum that Brazil beat the United States. Marcelo Balboa deflecting an own goal into his own net. Offside flag went up. No problem there for the United States. Roy Wegerle tracking back.
Kevin, Roy Wegerle did not have one of his stronger games recently against Costa Rica. He was opted out as a substitute in the second half by Steve Sampson. Right now, Roy again having a very quiet game. He really needs to be making some better runs, if nothing else, to draw attention to him, create some openings for either Eric Winalda or even Joe Max Moore, Kobe Jones, Frankie Haydick to go ahead and run through from the back.
Romario gets a touch. Edmundo to the area. Lays it off. Zé Maria, the low cross. Ball loose, rattling around in the penalty area, and finally skied across the touchline. And that could have been dangerous. We've seen two grass-skimming low crosses by Brazil in the last 4 minutes.
Well, I think they've started to realize that it will be difficult, especially if Alexi and Eddie Pope are able to sit in the central part of the penalty area for the U.S. team. Difficult for them to beat those two players in the air. They're opting to go ahead and try and beat them on the ground.
Ball played ahead. Flag went up, though. Frankie Haydick in an offside position.
Good run from Frankie Haydick, just a little bit too early. Timing critically important in order to beat the defenders as they step up. Ball has to be played forward before you make your break in behind the defenders.
U.S. guilty of only one offside in the first half, but that's more a product of the fact that Brazil had the ball.
You talk about how do you defend against a great team like Brazil. In my mind, the best way to do it is get possession of the ball, and even if it means you have to play the ball back in your half of the field, hold possession because it keeps the ball away from Brazil. Without that ball, of course, they can't do much.
A steal here. Kobe Jones draws the double team. Zé Maria strips him of the ball. Now Junior Baiano loses it across the touchline. Bad last touch.
A little uncharacteristic for Junior Baiano as well as other Brazilian players, kind of getting stuck with the ball at his feet.
Cross to Frankie Haydick. He steps up. Haydick crosses to the 18. Nobody within 5 yards of that pass. Haydick again. Out in front, the shot, this one blocked, rebounds at the 18.
Well, Kevin, you start making comparisons between these two teams. Clearly, one very significant difference is the creativity from an offensive perspective for Brazil, the lack of creativity a little bit for this U.S. team.
A little lack of creativity there from Edmundo, asking for his players to run on. Edmundo has been an unhappy camper, not only here with the Brazilian team, but also with his club team, Fiorentina, where he has been in and out of the starting lineup. And right now, Fiorentina playing great soccer without him.
Any player looks for a home. They look for a spot where they know that they can play day in and day out. Edmundo hasn't found it at the club level, looking to try and gain that by great performance at the international or World Cup national team level. Mike Burns just shoving the Brazilian player down and being called for a foul.
Now Edmundo withdrawn. Conceição plays it all the way back. They push it to the outside. Zinho plays it across the touchline. Zinho thought he was tripped up.
Welcome Zinho to the American mentality. Two U.S. players there just combining for some hard work, solid defensive pressure that caused the turnover and the throw-in in their favor.
Zinho, who played 2 years in Japan, he was really out of Brazilian soccer for those 2 years. Now Romario muscling up on him, Alexi Lalas. Let's see if the U.S. can counter here. Played to the middle, lots of open space. Harks plays it wide. Here's Frankie Haydock stepping up to the offense. Crossing attempt rejected.
And Kevin, there you see where Claudio Reyna would do so much for this team, or with players that Steve Sampson has on the bench, you got to bring in a Preki because they're just really lacking in that last touch, that creativity, that imagination that you need to create some quality opportunities.
And as Rich Mahoney told us earlier, it looks like if Steve Sampson does go to his bench, it might be Preki that is the first to come off the bench for the United States. Ball played into space. The right-footed shot by Kobe Jones. This one blocked.
Good quality run by Roy Wegerle. Great one-touch pass and a good idea for Kobe to go ahead and shoot it first time.
The U.S. playing dead even with Brazil. Wegerle. Wegerle in traffic. Wegerle gets it right back. Joe Max forced that turnover.
Kevin, you talk about what has been different in the last 30 seconds with this U.S. team. Roy Wegerle has such great potential, an outstanding impact player. If he gets involved there, he made a couple of quality runs and the U.S. team's offense came to life.
4 goals in the last 4 games for Roy Wegerle. Will he get on the board again tonight? Lawless and Pope ready to put a head on it. The cross in front. Taffarel knocks it down. And it's cleared out of danger. Now Kobe Jones plays it. The cross in front. Taffarel couldn't get a piece of it. And a goal kick coming up to Brazil. But the U.S. definitely exerting more offensive pressure here in the second half.
Well, this is John Harks looking to cross the ball. Doesn't get around on it all the way, but Taffarel, not totally comfortable that somebody isn't going to get a touch on it, extends himself to go for that ball. Well, Kevin, I really like the U.S. team, the way they look on the corner kick opportunities that they've had. You get Alexi, Eddie Pope forward, the way that Joe Max is zinging those corners in, hitting it both either to the near post and or the middle of the goal. I can't help but think if they keep doing that, sooner or later they're going to catch Taffarel out of position and get somebody with a touch. Hard
foul there. Restart to the United States. Sao guilty of the foul. And there it is. Ball played into space there. Harks' pass deflected. Hayduck got ahead on it, and it's cleared back to center. USA keeps possession. Eddie Pope pushes the ball out wide. Crowd chanting USA, USA. Here's Angus to drive. Jeff Angus driving it wide left.
I think Jeff got caught up a little bit too much in that chant, as Steve Sampson, I think, frowns with that shot. Jeff does a good job to run a strong, penetrating run straight forward, but to be taking a shot from the corner of the 18-yard box and of relative poor quality, not well advised. But again, Kevin, the best thing from a defensive perspective that this U.S. team is doing is they're holding possession of the ball, not turning it right back over, moving it up the field, creating some chances.
Zé Maria shields it, watches it roll across the line, and will throw in. Junior Baiano almost coughed it up there. U.S. putting on some pressure. Doriva plays it wide. Zinho stripped to the ball there. Eddie Pope. USA has really made a concerted effort here in the second half to get a little more offensive oomph. Look at Steve Sampson just waving his team downfield.
In part, they have really stepped up their play. But Brazil at this point, Kevin, is playing like we saw Brazil play against Jamaica and Guatemala in their first two games. And for a lot of the second half, other than when Giovanni Albert came on and really sparked that Brazilian offense, too lackluster. Very casual about the way they're moving the ball around. Not, I think, giving the United States the respect that they should, because U.S. team, given some opportunities, will hurt them.
Now they cross it. Edmundo, look how far back he's come. Now on the outside, Zé Maria cuts it inside. Zé Maria, his shot blocked. My guess is he wanted that on his right foot instead of his left. Agus plays a nice short ball to Joe Max Moore. Errant pass there. Now Edmundo. Here's Edmundo pushing it wide. USA battling. And the foul whistle down. Let's take you down to Ridge Mahoney. Ridge.
Roy Wegerle, though he played better at the start of this second half, he is coming off. First substitution for the United States, number 14, Preki. It'll be interesting to see, though, exactly how it shakes out, if he goes right into a forward position or if Joe Max Moore goes to forward to join Eric Ronaldo up front. It looks like Preki is going to play up front, a straight swap with Wegerle, number 7.
Preki, who won the game against Costa Rica this past weekend, scoring in the 78th minute. Ball played over the top and out.
Kevin, I'm not quite sure I agree with Ridge there that Preki is assuming, for the most part, a second forward position. But really, he's at his best when he's coming from the midfield, forward, or wide, as we saw him against Costa Rica with just the great goal. He's not a post-up type of guy. He needs the ball to be played so he can run onto it in space, not with his back to the goal.
Kobe Jones holds up. Junior Baiano. Now on the outside, Zé Maria with a touch. Brazil has had numerous chances. 13 shots in the first half. Here's Romario. Romario, top of the 18. Plays the square ball. The shot! Just over the bar. That time, Manuel getting the nice square pass from Romario. And you see how close he came.
Yeah, he doesn't miss by much, but Romario just played an absolute gem to Sergio Manuel. And he just was so emphatic about hitting it hard. Ended up hitting it harder than necessary, and as a result, didn't have the control needed to put the ball on the goal.
On the right side, it's Zé Maria. Zinho towards the 18, looking for Romario. Pass just out of his reach. Brazil keeps the pressure on. Now Edmundo. Looks for Zé Maria. Flag went up. Offside against Brazil.
Well, just a horrendous run by Zé Maria. We'll see here. Zé Maria is...
Was that 5 yards? 6 yards?
6 yards. He's just starting on his run, anticipating an early pass. It doesn't come. He knows if he starts going back, then he'll have the ball get played forward by Edmundo. Just bad communication between the number 7 and the number 2 for Brazil.
Conceição is down. Here's Kobe Jones playing it quickly ahead. Pass way off the mark, and Junior Baiano collects it for Brazil.
Well, Kevin, what the U.S. team has done in bringing Preki on with a couple of moments now to see it better, Steve's going with a 5-man midfield. He's got Preki dropping back into the midfield, leaving Eric Winalda up top by himself. What that does is it allows runners from the midfield, Kobe, Preki, Joe Max Moore, Frankie Haydick on the right side, to make runs forward, potentially losing their man in the midfield and creating some good opportunities at the offensive end of the field.
Junior Baiano clears it ahead. Conceição pushes it out wide. Zé Maria. Lawless breaks that play up. Conceição's pass deflected again by Lawless. And here comes the U.S. countering. Winalda working on 4 Brazilian players. Winalda. Here's Preki on his left foot. The shot, the goal! Preki in the 65th minute gives the USA a 1-goal advantage.
Brazil would know all about Preki's left foot. Here he cuts it back on Junior, tees it up, and just blasts the ball near post, beating Taffarel to the near side.
Look at Winalda hold the ball long enough for the offense to catch up with it.
Well, you allow Preki to receive the ball facing goal. He gets it on his left foot. And he is just pure gold for this U.S. team, putting them up by 1, 20 minutes into the second half.
Preki with his second goal in as many games. He won the game against Costa Rica in the 78th minute, and here against the #1 rated team in the world, Brazil, Preki scores again. And it's 1-0 USA.
Now, Kevin, you analyze why goals get scored. There is not much wrong that Brazil did. That's just great play by Preki.
Now they look, crossing to the back post, looking perhaps for Jeff Agus, who was overlapping. Lawless all the way back, and the ball will belong to the U.S. Brazil thought they had the throw-in, but the linesman ruled a throw-in to the U.S. Steve Sampson looking on.
Again, Steve Sampson has used potentially his greatest tool to perfection, bringing Preki on in the second half. And it immediately, as it did against Costa Rica, pays dividend.
How long will teams allow Preki to go to his left foot?
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible to me. Costa Rica did it. Brazil did it.
Evan, we talked about it the other day. I having had the opportunity to play with Preki, but scrimmage against him in practice. Just when you think you've sufficiently closed down his left foot.
Edmundo has that play broken up. Ball loose in the box. And finally played outside. Edmundo taken down. No foul was called. Now into space.
I mean, just when you think you've shut down Preki's left foot, you worry that he's going to do something with his right, then he cuts it back to his left, and you're dead.
USA playing with confidence and with the lead. Agus, the through ball. In front, the shot! And the save by Taffarel. Kobe Jones set up.
Kevin, this U.S. team has come to life because of Preki. Here it's Kobe Jones running from an onside position, using his speed to get to that ball and almost beating Taffarel again to the near post.
Corner kick U.S. Short corner. Winalda, one-on-one. Crossing in front. Pope couldn't get ahead on it. He's out in front. The shot blocked by Junior Baiano. Pope, known for a guy that likes to head the ball, had it come down at his feet, got the shot away, and Junior Baiano made the stop for Brazil. Again, Winalda. His shot handled easily by Taffarel.
Some real concern from Zagallo as he sees this U.S. team and Kobe Jones almost get a second goal inside of the right foot shot by Jones. Taffarel having to go down to his near post.
Agus set that play up. Doriva plays it out wide. Once again, Doriva plays it out wide. Brazil looking to get on the board. Zé Maria. Conceição. Preki scoring in the 65th minute. That is the difference in this game. The USA leading Brazil 1-0. Referee says play on. Pushed out wide, Zé Maria. He crosses in front over everybody's head and out. Let's take you now to Rich Mahoney.
Just a quick note, as that play was set up by a couple of tackles from Alexi Lawless in midfield, and Rick, as you pointed out, the U.S. wasn't playing very aggressively in the first half, but in the second half, they're stepping into their tackles much earlier, and it was the ball won by Lawless that sent Eric Winalda down the left wing, and then he found Preki, and Preki put away a great shot. And what is it about Preki's left foot? He beats goalkeepers on the near post. Isn't that supposed to be a no-no?
Supposed to be.
Spoken like a true expert. Well, Ridge, Kevin, you talk about how much to life this U.S. team has come in the second half. They've outshot Brazil 6-3 in this half.
Zé Maria. Ball played out wide and out.
Brazil about ready to bring on a second substitution, number 17, Marcos Asuncao, coming on for Conceição.
Ball played out. And a throw-in coming up to Brazil. Asuncao to Edmundo. Junior Baiano. Brazil has been thwarted here in the second half. Just 3 shots in the second half. Now the U.S. counters. Out to Kobe Jones on the wing. Zé Maria tracks back. Here's Preki.
Kevin, it's good for Preki to dribble, but there are certain points and times where it's not such a good idea. Dribbling in the midfield part of the field, yeah, save your tools and ability, Preki, for the attacking third.
Now Edmundo turns, faces goal. Lawless breaks that play up for the United States. Junior Baiano comes back when all the pressures, and Taffarel will distribute. Don't forget, if you don't call 1-800-FOX-WORLD now, you won't get Italian soccer live every Sunday on Fox Sports World, the premier 24-hour international sports channel. Call 1-800-FOX-WORLD right now. And tell your cable operator to sign up today. How far back Edmundo has to come back for the ball. Agus breaks that play up. They were looking to spring Zé Maria.
Kevin, this Brazilian team has really gone flat.
Here's Edmundo. Flag went up though. Romario offside.
Timing a little bit out of sync there. Edmundo's pass a little slow to the breaking Romario. Look for Romario to turn and run forward just a little bit prior to Edmundo releasing the ball. Evan, Brazil has really gone flat in the offensive third of the field and in the middle part of the field, losing possession that we really didn't see them do the entire first half.
Hart steps up for the United States. Plays it wide. Kobe Jones. Now Winalda comes back to get it. Here's Harks to Agus. Now they play it all the way back. They'll stretch the field out as Lawless comes back. Plays it into Casey Keller. Hasn't had much business here in the second half. He was very busy in the first half. Ball knocked high. Again, Mauro Silva was carried off early in the first half. They lost Denilson just a couple of nights ago against El Salvador to an injury. The shot, and again, Casey Keller comes up with a save on Edmundo. But guess who's getting set to check in for the Brazilians? Mr. Instant Offense, Giovanni Elber.
What was it, in 13 minutes of action against El Salvador, he gets 2 goals. He is instant offense, and that is really what the Brazilian team needs right now, Kevin. Not only for purposes of the goal, but the fact that they're really struggling giving up possession in the defensive and middle third because they're really struggling up front.
Zé Maria can't thread the needle there. Look at Harks just battling for the United States.
Well, and that's one of John Hart's strengths. The harder he works, the better he plays, the more he can engage with the opposition in those individual battles. Again, the better John Hark's performance seems to come out.
Edmundo to his right. Pass way off the mark, looking for Zé Maria. And you can tell the body language of Edmundo with his hands on his hips. He can't believe it. Manuel will check out. Elber will come on. The Bayern Munich striker. Bayern paying $6.7 million to transfer Elber from Stuttgart to Munich. See what he can do.
Kevin Zagallo is doing the Samson/Preki thing by bringing Elber on in the second half. Actually surprised that he did start Sergio Manuel and not Giovanni Elber. But now we'll get to see whether the U.S. team can adjust to that.
It'll be interesting to see how they deploy Elber if they play him up top with Romario and, of course, Edmundo, who in the second half has drifted back almost as a defensive midfielder.
Well, look for him to search out space and opportunity, most likely playing further forward. But as long as Alexi Lalas, as we saw there, is tight on him, he again will seek space, which will move him further back. You just look at this U.S. team's confidence, Kevin, so much better now with that goal and a couple of opportunities that they've had. A little bit of trivia. Last time the United States team scored against Brazil was in Brazil in 1930.
Here's a chance for the United States. Put the shot well wide. Preki that time going to the right foot. You don't see him do that very often, but I guess as a striker, you have to do that just to keep the defense honest.
Kevin, that is a setup move. You are setting the defenders up. You use your right foot, not really because you necessarily think it's what's best, but what you're doing is you're setting it up for cutting the ball back to your left.
Casey Keller gets there first. Good thing he did.
Casey showing some great range coming all the way to the edge of his 18-yard box.
Zé Maria plays it long for Elber. Crossing attempt blocked by Lalas. Crossed again in front. Chested down, the shot knocked through the box. And Eddie Pope is going to clear it for the United States. That one could have been disastrous.
Kevin, Casey Keller just has Romario's number throughout. He does a good job to quickly come off of his line to cut down the angle and ultimately saves the ball with his leg.
Ball played up the line. Zé Maria will throw in. Last touched by Joe Max.
Evan, watch how quickly Casey Keller comes off of his line by getting out there and cutting down the angle. He forces Romario's shot to have to thread the needle too tightly, and he's able to make the save and deny Romario again.
U.S. leading 1-0. The United States has not beaten Brazil ever. 0-8. Not even a draw thrown in for good measure. There's Romario to the 18. Eddie Pope stepping up big for the United States. What you don't want to do here is start giving the ball away. U.S. on the quick counter. Kobe Jones going wide. One man to beat. Kobe going wide on Junior Baiano. The cross in front. Here's the one-timer by Harks. This one blocked. Preki. Ball played back. The shot. And handled easily by Taffarel. I think Ronaldo would like to have that one back.
Well, Eric was just stuck in the proverbial mud. Not able to get a good foot plant.
Here's Romario. And he pushed it wide. He had an open net to shoot at.
Kevin, it's a great pass from the number 7, Edmundo Romario, beating Jefe Goose and Casey Keller to the ball. But his shot doesn't find the goal. Casey forcing Romario to shoot maybe before he was ready. Mario Zagallo looks on, and the U.S. team making another substitution, bringing on Brian McBride in the 81st minute. Steve Sampson going to an offensive move, like the mentality there. Defend by creating some more offense.
Brecky plays it back. Ball played all the way back in. Casey Keller, the veteran of Leicester City of the English Premier League. Don't forget, beginning in August, the English Premier League right here on Fox Sports World. The best soccer in the world is right here. You don't have to look any further. Fox Sports World. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It does not get much better than this. The United States and Brazil. Zé Maria to the middle. Zé Maria dispossessed. And the U.S. will counter. And they'll counter with some numbers. Frankie Haydock holds on. Played into space. Gonçalves knocks it out, and a throw-in to the United States. Frankie Haydock on the throw-in. Crossed in front, redirected, but right on Tafarel. Here's Edmundo. You don't want him to get ahead of steam. Lawless breaks the play up. U.S. in control here. Nine saves for Casey Keller in the game. 3 for Claudio Tafarel. Gonçalves plays it ahead. Brazil struggling to get the game-tying goal. Ball played to the outside. Eddie Pope pops out there. Crossed in front. The header redirected and wide. And a goal kick coming up to Casey Keller. And again, Romario thwarted here.
Kevin, for the U.S. team, Romario ends up getting between 2 defenders, Mike Burns and Alexi Lalas. He gets his head on it, which is so dangerous in that box. But fortunately for the U.S. team and players, his header ended up going wide.
The U.S. trying to get into the final Sunday afternoon here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Great to have you with us. Kevin Wall along with Rick Davis, former U.S. national team captain. Edmundo for Brazil. The back heel in front. Keller slides over. Edmundo gets there first. He tries to cross, and it's cleared out of danger.
Boy, such great experience showed there by Casey Keller to pull up as Edmundo was running out wide to get that ball. That had penalty kick written all over it if Casey Keller pursues him out there, possibly tripping up Edmundo and getting a penalty kick foul called against him.
Romario 8 shots, 5 on goal. And Brazil with 9 shots on goal in the game.
Kevin, from a statistical standpoint, they say it takes 5 to 6 shots to create a goal. If you're Romario, his shots to goal percentage is much lower, typically only 3 or 4 shots. This tournament has not been a good finishing tournament for the number 11 for Brazil.
Under 5 minutes to go, plus any stoppage time. The USA trying to do what it has never done before, and that is beat Brazil. Works his way right side. Run down there. Played ahead to Brian McBride of the Columbus Crew of Major League Soccer, throwing to the United States.
Evan, Steve Sampson applauds. You talk about the value of supporting one another. There, just when Jose Maria had made a great run forward, beating a couple U.S. players, Kobe Jones goes back and helps out.
Now under 4 minutes to go. Doriva plays it back. Zinho plays it wide. Junior will try and overlap. Ball played back. Junior Baiano back in the lineup for Brazil after a 2-game suspension. Out of Edmundo. Working against the U.S. defense. Here's a chance, and Keller again got a piece of it. Oh, Casey Keller just robbed Giovanni Elber.
Casey Keller is like a brick wall in front of that goal. He has just stopped everything that Brazil has thrown at him.
What more can Casey Keller do? He may be counted on in the final 3 minutes. Low cross. And out. Goal kick to Casey Keller.
Well, you'll see Casey Keller having to go way to his left. Full extension. One hand, parry the ball out of bounds for a corner kick. Picture perfect technique. Another great save for Casey Keller in the U.S. goal.
Don't forget Thursday. Mexico and Jamaica. The other semifinal match. Who will they meet in the finals? The U.S. trying to nail down a spot. There will, by the way, Sunday be a third-place game. Jose Maria. His cross. This one blocked to the end line and out corner coming up to Brazil. U.S. had better get organized because Brazil may just want to start this thing early.
U.S. is dropping all 11 players into their box.
Keller knocked down along his line. Ball is out and a goal kick coming up to the U.S. Mario Zagallo trying to push any button he can. He's inserted Elber, but it simply has not worked.
Maybe the best way to get Casey Keller from making saves, look at the elbow to the neck of Casey Keller. That might be the only way to beat him.
Ball played to the outside. USA. Ball crossed in front. Under a minute to go, plus any stoppage time. Junior Baiano for Brazil. The Brazilians with under a minute to try and get this game tied. And the ball is out. It will belong to the U.S. And the United States will be in no hurry to put this ball back into play. Down to 30 seconds, plus any stoppage time. And, of course, official time being kept down on the field. Referee looks at his watch. The USA getting their first goal in 68 years. And maybe their first win ever. Ball played to the 18-yard line and ducked across the touchline. And we are now in injury time. Assunção backs it off. Junior Baiano. He's going to run into the offensive end. They better mark him. Ball cleared, but not out. And finally, Frankie Haydock just dumps it out of danger.
Brazil has thrown everything forward, only holding number 4, Gonçalves, back.
And here comes Kobe Jones. We're into injury time. The referee with the whistle in his mouth. Junior Baiano gives off Gonçalves. The U.S. trying to nail down a win and a berth in the finals. Agus with the long header. The referee looking at his watch. Again. Here's Zé Maria. The cross in front. Polk heads it out of danger. Now here's Edmundo. He is dispossessed. And the U.S. dumps it the length of the field. How much time is left? The only man who knows, Ali Mohamed Boujam. And he has not yet blown the whistle. Ball crossed to the 18 again. Wallace with a header. There's Kobe Jones. He pushes it across the touchline.
Kevin, both teams playing like this time should be up. Brazil just dumping the ball long. They would be better served to play it up the field. U.S. just knocking the ball down the field. They should try and hold possession to kill more time.
Ball played out wide to Junior. Assunção out on the wing now. Zé Maria. The U.S. with everybody behind the ball. Zé Maria playing it in front. Look out, and Keller is there, but he carried it across the line. Or did he? No, he kept it in. Lofted high. Brian McBride battling. We are still into injury time. McBride holding. And a throw into the United States.
Kevin, I keep seeing the referee checking his watch. U.S. bench up in anticipation of the final whistle. Usually with the referee looking at his watch so much, it means it's over.
And it's over! The United States has done something they have never. No, now wait a minute. In fact, the U.S. bench was out on the field. And it is not over. Now it is over. And the U.S. has beaten Brazil. 1-0. Preki, the game-winning goal. In the 65th minute, Mario Zagallo beat Steve Sampson. A winner. In the first half, comes out a winner. We will come back to the LA Coliseum after this on Fox Sports World. An historic night for the United States national team as they beat Brazil. Final score 1-0. Two men who were instrumental in the win are standing by with our own Ridge Mahoney. Ridge?
Well, thank you, Kevin. Obviously an incredible night for the United States national team. Some great saves by Casey Keller and a goal by Preki. First to you all, Preki. Second time in the last two games you scored the winning goal, but think about this. Growing up in Yugoslavia, not only to play Brazil with the United States, but to score the winning goal. Just tell us how it feels.
Well, it feels great. I mean, to come off the bench and score against the team like Brazil, it's great. But I have to praise the play of Casey Keller. He kept us in the game all night, and he played magnificently.
Okay, then let's talk to Casey Keller. Casey, you held him off in that first half. A lot of attacks. They hit a few shots wide. Is this one of the best games you've had in terms of making saves and making plays?
Yeah, probably. You know, there's a lot of times when you make maybe 1 or 2 saves that keeps your team in the game. It's a rare occasion when you're able to come up as many times against, especially against the quality of Brazil. I really was betting that, you know, a few more chances in the second half and Romario would have at least stuck one of them away. I got fortunate. I saved one with my leg. That was really lucky. He pushed another one wide. It was just our night, and Preki sealed it. You know, the key is to get that goal, and Preki did exactly that with another world-class strike.
But what is it, though? You've been in the national team program, unlike Preki, he's a newcomer. You've been in the national team program at the youth level, the Olympic level. Finally, the U.S. beats Brazil.
Well, yeah, it's been a long time coming. Obviously, they were missing a few players. You got to give them a little bit of credit that they didn't have their full team, but it was still a tremendous occasion for us, and we're gonna you know, have a good time tonight.
Well, congratulations to both you guys. Have a great time tonight. The United States beats Brazil, Kevin. I don't believe it. Back up to you.
An unbelievable night, Rick Davis.
Kevin, there are very few words I can think of to say. Potentially the greatest result that the U.S. team has had in the last 10, 15 years.
For the United States, their first goal against Brazil in 68 years, their first win ever. Until we join you next time, for Ridge Mahoney and Rick Davis, I'm Kevin Wall. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Sports World.